in the last draft. The other two were Misfortune and Aurelian Salt. Was Game Lord, a blue side, they have the option to pick it up very early and insta-lock it. But what that does allow Futbolist on the flip side to do is get a bot lane like have the Malphite and the Wukong being picked up, the Zarya as well. Again, this is a very, very solid composition, very similar to what we saw before from Game Lord. Obviously, the main difference being Azure not on that Ezreal, and we'll see if that's going to be the factor that they can try and find something more, as well as the fact that Ika will not be on that Darius this time around. Didn't want to face into the Camille with the Darius. The main thing that I think led to a lot of what happened in the last game was the lane swap that was actually instituted by Futbolist, who sent their bot lane to the Baron side of the map. I think they just don't go for the lane swap this time around, play it by the book, because we know that in general, it's Game Lords who have slipped up in the past. Obviously, they didn't in that previous game, and Futbolists weren't able to find those openings, but we'll see what they opt to go for this time.
Here was a Misfortune and the Camille too, especially that Camille, thanks to the split push she offers and the great potential to take down towers so easily thanks to those split pushes. I think that here their composition has a lot more of a better chance of finding those early towers. Elpis is out of the bush. He got spotted away by Razor. Feels bad, man. So no big surprise factor onto Razor this time around. And Futbolists are slowly going to try and take a little bit more river control, making sure they're not going to get engaged upon. Though be careful. Hegman there with a Braum, one, if not the single best support upon hitting level 1, which you always hit level 1 when you spawn on the map in the first place, so you're always going to be strong. But it's just because of that stun that comes out so consistently and reliably and the extra burst. You just don't want to fight with it, right?
This is why we have you on broadcast, Max. It's for insights like that.
Bro, shut up.
You hit level 1 when you spawn on the Wildrift. I don't know what we do without you, I'll be honest.
Okay, John, this is why also we only got you for one day on the show. Yeah,
oh, no.
Hey, North America, if you want to come back, it would be a pleasure. Yes, yes.
Don't insult me.
Just going to be here trash talking the team like, what the hell? Disgusting. EU's better. By the end, Futbolist already popping the heal onto Elpis.
They're crisps! Sorry, what?
Wait, it was soccer, it's football. What the hell? Okay, so just gonna go for it. I see. Okay. Wait, man, they call fish and chips in America. They call it fish and chips, right?
That's because they don't know what they're talking about. Azure, though, going in for the stun with a Braum. Early levels, as you say, quite strong, and actually burns the flash from Elpis on the Futbolist bot lane. They didn't get the matchup last time around, but this time around it will be going well. A little bit of an invade, a poke into the enemy jungle as well in the top side, for the Olaf, zoning Mowgli away on that Wukong. And they are just going to be able to secure that top side scuttle. Again, okay, they didn't actually go for the bottom side scuttle as well, but it looks like that Sweest is just going to go for it himself.
Just to know, we didn't really see it on the stream, but it did happen. We did just see Hegman flash forward and try and actually get the last shot onto Elpis to get that initial first blood. Not able to do so, very unfortunately. And Elpis scared me a little bit. He's got to be a lot more cautious of how he positions here, because at one point he was down to, I would say, about 30 HP. And he was standing right in front of 3 feathers that were set up by Azure. And he did the Blade Caller. And he almost got the kill. I think he was down to 5 HP. So you got to be very careful, because those roots will be detrimental to the win condition of Game Lord, especially when it comes down to the early stage. And also the amount of peeling they're going to have to deal with the likes of Olaf, the Camille, and also on top of Pigas is going to be really strong. So I'm happy we finally got a Zarya in this game. And I think that if she's able to get ahead, she will be really, really the undoing of Futbolist. But the execution of Azures was strong earlier on top of the Ezreal, so hopefully Azai is going to be just as good. Now we're about to make our way in 3 minute in. No significant goal lead, so things are going to be good for both teams, though. So far, nothing really too out of the ordinary. Both teams being rather respectful. But the Drake is going to spawn in now 1 minute, so you're going to start seeing these resets coming out from both teams to try and prepare for that fight. Or topside.
All right, okay, a little bit of a gank coming through. Flash burnt, unstoppable force as well for Ika. The undertow follows, but only tickles the toes. And Zika is forced to go back to base. Are Futbolists going to be able to put significant damage onto this turret? I think they're going to be able to get a plate, maybe even 2 here, if they're lucky. And that's a really, really solid start, especially for a Camille, who's going to have so much power into this split push. Are they just going to be able to take the turret? I think they might.
I think so. I mean, this is exactly what we should be doing with an Olaf, and especially the Camille. We said of how good she is to take down these early objectives, so that's exactly what she's going to do. Play into their win condition. You love to see it. And this is good because so many times I see these teams just having a composition with a clear win condition, they don't execute upon it, and then the next game they do the exact same mistakes. Here we see in Futbolist react and improve over time over the course of 2 games, which, by the way, is not very easy to do. It requires a big change of mentality and mindset in general. And they've been able to make it work out just fine. So I think that here that they know what they should be doing in this game and they execute on it properly. So I'm fine with this. But are we going to be fine with this first Dragon fight, as it should be coming out hopefully very, very soon? I mean, Futbolist already set their reset underway. So they're going to be getting their initial itemizations under their belt. So that's going to be Futbolist initiating early on.
Incredibly forward-thinking timing on the gank in the top side as well, to be able to get that force out, get the turret, force that wave in, and then back just as the dragon spawns so that they can get this dragon with very little competition as the top wave had to be dealt with. Fantastic rotations coming through from Futbolists, and I have to say that all credit to Sweest. Fantastic jungle structure.
Game Lord are just feeling like Futbolist last game. They losing objectives and not able to find a response. It's really surprising. It's so drastic in that change, though. Well, Ragnar got to be careful. Okay, they like to scare us with those engages sometimes, I got to say. But Ragnar's fine. He's good to go. He's going to get poked down pretty heavily by Razor. But talking about that, Pegas is ready to go for the gank.
Oh, he was stepped outside of the brush, though.
Yeah.
So he did. The positioning was aware there as well. Just as a note, you might be wondering why you can package forwards and then Valkyrie immediately away. They are the same ability, but the cooldowns are separate. So if you use your package, it uses that charge, and you still have your Valkyrie off cooldown. Which is how he's able to get back to safety. So whilst it looks like it might be over aggressive, it can be the case that it's coming off cooldown, you get a little bit of damage down, a little bit of poke, and then you can get away fairly safely and just wait for those cooldowns with the rest of your team.
If the pack is going to be off cooldown anyways, just better off just using it in an aggressive manner, and he should be good to go. And also, Game Lord, they do not really have a composition that's amazingly strong when it comes down to pinning down the likes of a Corki. Then the bot side tower might fall down, but Game Lord a little bit too short on that wave, and it's going to be down to the final plate. As Mowgli, that's going to be the Cyclone, not available for the next engage, and that's something that Futbolist could potentially try and play around as they're making their way towards the Herald.
I'm surprised Corki's little ship can fly with the size of the balls of Rekner in the bot lane, stepping forward that far. Jesus, okay, fair enough. He's still going toe-to-toe with 3 of them, and actually might be able to sail the dive away if he's lucky, but not before the turret does fall. On the opposite side of the map, this is the thing that we wanted to see, though, Max. The trade of objectives and now pressuring the top side.
Yeah, the gold lead is not there just yet. It's slowly starting to build up to 1,000 gold lead just about for Futbolists, but especially here, you're going to be looking at them trying to take these objectives. The map control is going to be strong, and also the vision. They got such much deep vision into the top side of the jungle, which is amazing. Bottom side missing a little bit, and I'm going to be actually deactivating the Fog of War real quick and putting myself on the POV of Game Lord. The entire map is just into absolute darkness. They have no idea where they're going. If they get invaded, they have no clue. If there's going to be a bush setup from Futbolist, they have no idea. So really, I got to say, the vision game from Game Lord is rather lacking, and because of that, it makes it really strong to have a good idea of where you're going and have a good bearing of your surrounding areas.
That's true. Although they did just base, they have just finished off all of the objectives, so perhaps they don't want to do that. But over on the bot side, this is where the vision game can come back to bite you. Azure just pushes up with no one there, no vision to protect him, and gets ganked and dies. It's almost like you were talking wise words. Azure overstepping before they'd reestablish that vision line.
Hopefully going to get it soon. Yeah, a few wards coming on through, especially towards the river next to the mid lane. So they're going to be able to get himself a little bit more information as to who's going to be roaming around the map. But now Camille, especially on Olaf, they've got himself the turret in the Baron lane. They're going to do very similar fashion in the Drake lane, in the Dragon lane. So they're going to be picking that one for themselves. And especially thanks to the Camille, that tower stands no chance. It's getting absolutely bullied into oblivion. And that's going to be some extra gold going straight in the back pockets of Futbolist as Razor's looking for the engage.
Oh, that's unwise. You have to flash away, pop the barrier as well, and not really too much found a response. In comes Mowgli, though, has got the Cyclone available, doesn't want to burn it. Certainly not onto just one, and Futbolists will get away with it.
Yeah, Futbolists got exactly what they came for, and they came for that tower. They'd already lost the tower in mid, in bot lane earlier, so they know that they can't lose too much if they go back to base and reset. The Drake is coming up very soon, and this is why Futbolists are also going to be putting those backports into play. They want to try and get those itemizations and finalize a few tier 3s if they can. 3 Triforce already under play, and I'm just realized, actually, looking at the composition of Futbolists, 4 AD. go for armor and you're literally set, especially for Ika. Do not go for any more AP after this. Go for full armor and you will beat just the tankiest homie in the land. But here, Game Lord, I'm really wondering if they're going to go for a lot of armor into this one, as they haven't initiated too much in their build as of right now.
Oh, okay, a nice knock-up there found for Rakan onto Azure. He stepped forward too much last time, and it looks like he might repeat that mistake as well. In comes the Blade Caller, and the Feather Storm is there to try and get them, but he just gets shut down. Azure, what are you doing? This is the second time now that he's given Futbolist this massive opening. That's a free Drake without Azaya.
They're going to try and trade mid-tower, though, but I think that Futbolists are going to be a little bit too quick. A great engagement with the Valkyrie.
Nice package, but they are going to shut it down as he does flash back away. Bullet time to stop them from retreating properly, but a beautiful shockwave just stops that again. And Elpis burning down with a red buff will fall as well. And Game Lord turned it around. A nice double pickup found. And then before the even Dragon falls, but check out the bot lane as well. That's Swiss taking the tier 2 turret.
Just in terms of gold, they're looking good already. 4,000 in their pockets. They're looking for more, though. Maybe going to try and roam on forward. Not too sure where Swiss currently stands. But yeah, that shockwave from Razor was just amazing. He played such a great first game on that champ, and he's doing it once again. Unfortunately, it's down to Azure just out of position just way too often. Currently, he died twice. 0 kills going to his name. And Azure, really got to make usage of your team, man. If you're not with your squad, especially because of the Hectic Ultimatum, and you see how good Caglian is, he's not going to waste it when the Featherstorm is still up. No, he's just going to wait for that Featherstorm to be popped and then go for the Hectic Ultimatum. And because they have no displacement, they can't deny the Hectic Ultimatum away. So at the end, it's just, Azure, you need to stick with your team, or otherwise your entire composition just falls apart, and that should not be allowed to happen at this stage. And Futbolists are just punishing it very nicely, which you should be doing. So I got to say, Futbolist, a completely different team from what we saw into game 1, and I'm enjoying heavily what they're doing on this one.
I'm going to talk for a little bit about jungle diff, by the way, because look at the goal difference between Swiest and Mowgli in terms of those bottom lines. Almost 3k difference on just the junglers. That's the majority of the goal difference between the two teams. And he's going to try and put that into effect right now. You can see the Unstoppable running in from the Olaf, going to come through. The Undertow goes the wrong way, but it's not going to matter as the Reckless Swing finds the final blow. And in comes the backup from the rest of the squad. Hengman goes down, and now it's just Razor left in the lurch, and will fall as well. Swiss stays alive, and there's nothing found in response for Game Lord as Futbolist turn on the heat.
There's nothing they can do at this stage. Game Lord are just falling apart. There's no team synergy in what they're doing. They just get picked up one by one. Mowgli flashed forward too when they were taking the initial damage, potentially trying to keep his teammates alive for a little longer. But unfortunately, yep, that is going to be it. Futbolist now going to get himself that Baron, and they're going to be cracking open the mid lane once again, especially thanks to Elpis. There you go, the Baron buff comes on through, and you know that Elpis on Misfortune can easily get those plates. Headman going to try his best to defend it, but I think that this is already going to be a GG easy going away of Futbolist, and we should normally make our way to a game 3, unless one of the biggest throws happened, which Futbolist have not been in too many throws when it comes down to it. When they're in the lead, they are significantly in a driving seat, and I do not think they're going to give this one away for anything in the world. In terms of gold also, 45, now 46k actually. They're up to a 9,000 gold lead, making their way slowly but surely towards 10k. That is where things are just looking so hard for Game Lord to make that comeback happen. I just do not think it's going to come on through here.
It would be very difficult indeed. And as I said before, a lot of this advantage is on the Olaf, who can now just step forwards. He can move through and is tanky enough at this stage with 3 items, with the Sterex, with the Spirit Visage as well, to heal up, to tank through, and be almost as unstoppable as his ult. The Shockwave to try and slow Futbolist moving forwards, and the Cyclone comes through. Double knockup found on towards the backline of the of Futbolist, and in comes the Featherstorm. Blade Caller not quite activated just yet as you're looking for that route. A lot of damage to be found, but doesn't quite pop it in time. And the Baron minions come in for the backup, and it is just devastation as Futbolist wipe out what looked to be a good engage from Game Lords. And over on the other side, over on that top end, Ika going low. The Undertow is there, and that is one dead rock. I mean, you know, you try and get blood out of a stone. That's exactly how you do it. Not quite going to be able to get that final kill, but the Nexus is laid bare.
If only, well, he does have actually an unstoppable force. There you go. Great engage, but it's not going to be enough.
Not quite there, and that will be the equalizer on the series, Max. We are 1-1 for Futbolist and Game Lord. Game Lord looks so strong, particularly out of the gates there on the comeback for Futbolist. We'll see if they can do it again to try and take this series.
It was just so one-sided for both of these teams in both of those games. It is really surprising to me.